Hi, so you join me here today. I'm on the Aire and Calder on the Pollington stretch. This stretch in particular is known as the owl boxes. So I was on an open match midweek here and I drew this peg. And I did have about just short of £8, but I felt like it wasn't quite right and there are a few things that I'd like to put right. So I thought, what a good opportunity to come back. Didn't have much on today. Bring you guys with me and I'm going to run through how I got on, what I did and what I'd like to change, and hopefully it'll work. So let me run you through what I'm going to fish today. So I'm going to start across on the tip as I would normal, give that 40 minutes or so, aiming to catch an handful of little skimmers, maybe the odd perch, and then I'll set up a short line at about 8-9 metres for roach, and hopefully during the week I caught some smaller skimmers and stuff on this, so I'm going to have a play around with that line and see if I can concentrate and catch more skimmers on there. And then I've fed a top 5 line with casters. I feel like I missed out on this line during the week. There are a few fish caught on it and I didn't really catch much on it, so I want to try and put that line right. I did catch on a long pole at 14.5 metres on Thursday, but I haven't set that up today because I'm happy with what happens on that line. I don't feel like I need to change anything, so I'm going to set these lines up and I'll run you through how they go. I'm going to run you through the mixes that I like to use and why I like to use them. So I'll start on the feeder and on the long pole line. I like to use the dark fish meal just on its own, nothing else in it. The reason being, before that came out I used to use the black F1, which was alright but it didn't have much fish meal, and this became apparent when I'd catch a lot more fish than everybody else on the feeder, but I always used to catch the smaller stamp and I never really worked out why. And then I'd had a conversation with someone and they'd be using fish meal. So since the black fish meal's come out, that's what I've used, and I've started catching better stamp on the feeder. So I think there's a lot to what ground bait you use. I know some people do use the fatchers, which is also really good, but I think with that one you've got to play around with how much fatchers you put to F1 to make your concentration of fish meal right. Whereas I think I just have one bag, mix it up, usually the night before, no messing around, does all the jobs. Then we move on to the roach mix. So for the roach mix, base mix black roach, and today I'm going to put a bit of black lake in as well. So the black roach is a really sticky mix and I like it because it holds all my particles, gets them to the bottom. But I add the lake in probably half a bag just so it's a bit more active and not quite as sticky, and it'll break up a little bit faster. To that I'll put 250ml of hemp in, and I have started using the fluoro rocks. As you can see, they're nearly empty now. So at first I was just using the fluoro rocks for bream, as that's what people have said that it's for, and it stands out, and when the current moves the actual fluoro rocks stay on the bottom, whereas your maggots and pinkies might go out. So I thought, if I'm using it for them for that reason, why not use it for my roach as well? I'm putting fluoro pinkies in my roach mix. So since about 2-3 months ago I've been putting the fluoro rocks in my roach mix as well, and as well as the pinkies and everything else, but I just feel that it holds a few more fish, because as they pick the rocks up they probably spit them out, whereas the pinkies they eat them and they disappear. Just what I've been doing, just thought I'd give you an insight. We're going to start a match. So I've got my little feeder here, just the smallest feeder, just a 3-year-old feeder, 25 gram, with a little red worm tip top of a pinky. So I like to feed all my lines that I'm going to feed, then start on tip and give the other lines half hour, 40 minutes to settle. But obviously if the tip keeps going round and we keep catching, we stay on this while Lou's feeding the other ones. Let's see how we get on. now we're coming to end of the feeder fishing for this session. I'd had half a dozen of these little skimmers, not bad weight builders, but it's starting to die off a bit now. So I'm just going to have a look on my pole line, see what's on there. I'll hold this one up for you so you can have a look at it. That's the sort of stamp that we're catching. Lovely little fish. But as I say, it's just gone a bit quieter, so it's been 40 minutes or so now. Let's have a look on the pole lines and see if we can catch a few. Right, lovely little fish. So now on this short line, it's all about just getting in a rhythm. So I'll do everything the same every time. Lay my rig in the same. Pick the catapult up. I like to feed a bit of hemp. It's quite heavy and I've got a chance of catching some roach later on, some better fish. And then just a sprinkling of pinky over the top on the same line. And then we're just waiting for a bite. Just missed one then. But hopefully it should drop back in. Let the rig settle. Pinky will be on bottom now. Just waiting for your bite. There we go. Fish on. Nice little roach, good for building a weight, and hopefully we'll catch a few bigger ones later. Catching on single pinky at the minute. Pinky on up. Ship back out and repeat the process. Feed a few casters short, hopefully we'll catch on that line a bit later on, some nicer hybrids of perch. And then I'll put my bit of hemp over the top and a few pinkies again. It's all about having that loose feed just falling through water columns, keeps fish interested and congregating around your ground bait. See, I've just had that small bream. The way that I've caught that is I've altered my feed. So I was catching a few roach and the odd perch through the water, like I said earlier, feeding hemp and feeding pinkies. But it just wasn't quite right and it wasn't as solid as what I'd like it to be. And now we're catching the odd little skimmer. So I decided to change my feed. I started cupping in little balls, still with the pinkies and hemp and a little bit of maggot in, to concentrate the fish down on the bottom. And since doing so, I've caught better stamp, including that small bream that I've had there and a few skimmers to go with it as well. So on the day, it's all about seeing how the fish want to be caught, and you don't always catch them the way you want to catch them. It's about altering your feed and corresponding to how the fish are reacting. You have to be one step ahead and catch them how they want to be caught. So this is like one of the average size skimmers that we've been catching on that short line. Oh, as you can see, it's a lively one. I've had a few of them, that sort of size, nice decent weight builders. They're the ones that I feel I were missing out on Thursday. Happy to come back and catch a few, so I'm happy about that. So there we go, I've had a nice few hours fishing. Just come down in afternoon for a few hours. Caught plenty of fish. Managed to put a few things right that I thought weren't quite right on Thursday. and feel a lot better about going into my next match. So hopefully all this hard work has paid off and I do alright in next match.